And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems, so it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics and current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically, and in addition, we're running our new number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in this selector is a local receiver audio, And today our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our NO-SWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to see the switch and hear the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today, that all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. As we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Charlie, got a copy? Yes, Jim, I've got a nice copy now. You're peaking S8 and S9 direct, as I don't have the availability of an SDR. I do have a recording I made on the 24th, the 23rd, the day before yesterday, on Wednesday, on 20 meters. You might find it interesting. I want to see if you are copying okay. I would imagine through Milford. KC9VKV, K1G, ZNL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie, Milford it is, and you're 35 over. Roger, Roger.
And you're 35 over. Roger, Roger. Okay, Roger, Roger. What this is, I picked up he was in a net, so I couldn't talk to him very long. However, he was down not too far from Brisbane, Australia. That's a little ways up near the eastern seaboard. And then I worked a fellow with a quarter wave vertical, almost in the same area, another VK4. And then I went down to 14222, called CQDX, and of all things, I've got a fellow down in southern India, and I was working him long path. His antenna was aimed at the South Pole, aimed down at the South Pole, and he was going all the way around the planet, up maybe near the North Pole, and I discovered I was copying him better, not on my antenna aimed into southern Australia or southeast Australia. I was receiving him better on my 40-meter quad. which is non-directive to the north. So he was traveling about 18,000 miles. What I want to do is play this little tape, starting with the fellow near Brisbane, Australia, running 15 to 20 over 9. Then this fellow with a quarter wave vertical, almost within 35 or so miles of the first station. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I've got it.
Yeah, I was just writing in the log, so I'll give Charlie a call. Kilo 1, Golf Zulu Lima. This is Victor Kilo 4, Charlie Charlie. The name is called Charlie Oscar Lima, and I'm located in southeast Queensland. Over. U1 Fox Delta Yankee. Yes, no worries there, Charlie. I am halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast, so in miles, around about 25 miles south of the city centre of Brisbane, over.
Okay. That's the fellow with the vertical.
The previous station you were talking to, I'm actually located on the Gold Coast itself, hence the call sign, Gold Coast Radio. Beautiful copy from you, Charlie. I've got you 59 plus 10. I'm only running 100 watts through a quarter wave vertical, Charlie. Back to you.
Okay, now let me jump ahead here and do this fellow from southwest India. I may be off a little bit, but let me see what I've got. Wait a minute, I gotta get a little further for it. Up, I gotta go forward. Let's see if that was...
130 watts and a 2-element Markson, a 2-element Markson, beaming to Victor Kilo, beaming to over Victor Kilo to a strong path to seaside, Charlie. Thank you very much, and thanks for the contact, and great to hear you, Charlie, and I'm very happy to meet you, Charlie. Maybe this is our first contact. Maybe this, I feel like this is our first contact, Charlie. And thank you once again. Take care. Greetings from southern part of India. South coast of India, Charlie. Kilo 1, Golf Zulu Lima. Kilo 1, Golf Zulu Lima. This is Victor Uniform number 2, Delta Golf Radio. Namaste and thanks for the contact, Charlie.
Okay, there you are, Jim. The last part, he was much clearer because I was listening not on my 20-meter quad, but I was listening to him on my 40-meter antenna. And so he was coming long paths almost directly from the north. I didn't mean to hold it so utterly long, but I wanted to get that through to show you what fairly low power, 130 watts and a 2-element Moxie beam can do long path going over the South Pole. What do you think of that? KC9VKV. Hope you copied K1G, Z, and an L.
Roger, Charlie, copied fine. Now, let me understand this. You got him long pass, and how many miles was that?
Long pass, and how many miles was that?
Oh, at least 18,000. At least 18,000. The band was probably open all the way around the planet, all the way completely around the planet, but it was at least 18,000 miles. Whereas down into the Australian stations I was working, it's a little over 10,000 miles direct. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. So 18,000 miles. How many skips, how many bounces would that be?
18,000 miles. How many skips, how many bounces would that be?
That's hard to say. I would say pretty low angle. I would say about 12 or 15 bounces. 12 or 15 at least. Go ahead.
Just amazing, amazing. And he sounded best of all of them, I believe.
And he sounded best of all of them, I believe.
Well, he'd like to hear you say that. His name was Denny, I believe, Denny, and that was an exciting QSO. So I'm going to have to get on at least once a week on 20 meters, but that was the day before yesterday, on the 23rd of August, and here it is now talking to you on the 25th. I believe this is, this would be the 25th of August, 23. So look, Jim, I won't hold it any longer. There may be many stations that are trying to work you, and it's interesting what you can do these days on the air. Now, if that fellow was running down to 5 watts, as long as I wasn't listening to him on my quad, because he was down 15 to 20 dB on my quad, which is aimed into Australia. If I were actually aimed at him, almost due north or northwest, I probably could have heard him on 1 or 2 watts on that 18,000 mile run. Because once you get the propagation, get the right angle of radiation, it's gorgeous. It's great. Excuse me for testing for modulation purposes. Well, look, I'll see you next week, hopefully. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. Always a pleasure, sir, and good reports, good recordings. Enjoyed them. 73 up that way, and we'll be looking forward to getting with you next Friday. Always a pleasure. Just a reminder, this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And that'll take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,600 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. So without further ado, let's open it up and see who's out there. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. And if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
And if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Whiskey 8, Romeo, November, Bravo.
November Bravo station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
November Bravo station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
I'll do that for you, Jim. This is Whiskey 8, Romeo, November, Bravo, W8RNV. Some call it Rhythm and Blues, but I'll call it Romeo, November, Bravo. My name is Lee, Lima Echo Echo, and I am north of Detroit in Troy, Michigan. Go ahead.
Roger Lee, and what radio are you running today?
Roger Lee, and what radio are you running today? today?
I am running a Yaesu FTDX 5000.
Roger, FTDX 5000. All righty. And if you would be interested in a setup procedure, it'd be first making sure you're in that wide bandpass mode, 100 to 2900. Roger, roger.
Wide bandpass mode, 100 to 2900. Roger, roger.
Well, actually, what I'd like to start with, I've had several people give me analysis, and I'm wondering how it sounds to your ear before we get started.
Looks pretty good, but you just never know, particularly on your ALC, which determines your dynamic range. We usually look for about a 3 dB dynamic range. Yours looks close. What we do is set that ALC level. It's go to ALC with ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. That's the way to set that.
Adjust your mic gain until your ALC is 2/3. That's the way to set that.
Okay, well, we can do that. Let me just back off a little bit here, both on the mic gain and the processing, and that's about where it should be. It looks like that's about what you're asking for. How's that sound, Jim?
Roger, roger. And about a 3 on your processor compressor. Anything past that starts to suck up a little bit, and we're really not interested in that. A 3 is almost imperceptible, but does as much as a 6, except it doesn't suck up between the words. Roger?
It does as much as a 6, except it doesn't suck up between the words. Roger?
Yep, that's where I started before you told me to look at the ALC. The processing was set at 30%, and I backed it off a little bit, so currently it's about 25%. Go ahead.
Roger. Now, how close are you working that mic?
Roger. Now, how close are you working that mic?
Not close at all. I'm probably about 3 to 4 inches away.
Yeah, roger, roger. All right, and let's see. Let's go to your EQ page, Roger.
Let's go to your EQ page, Roger.
Okay, now boy, I set this up a minute ago. There's a ton of menus on this radio, as you know. And hang on a second here. What I did, though, I'm on the transmit bandwidth. I'm at the worst one, which is 53,000.
Okay, well, you're going to have some mad neighbors. I would, do you have 100 through 2900?
Do you have 100 through 2900?
Yep, it's just one notch down. That's all it is, just one notch. That's what I'm on currently.
Yes, sir. That gives you just a slice of daylight between your yard and your neighbor's yard, and that's preferable because when you start walking in somebody else's yard, sometimes they release the hounds. Roger.
Sometimes they release the hounds. Roger.
Roger, very much. Well, listen, I appreciate it. I don't have a lot of time here. I wanted to catch you at the very beginning here because I'm short on time. But if this sounds good to your ear, I'll leave it at the 100-2900 with the ALC at 2/3 and the processing set back a little bit as well. Jim, go ahead.
Roger, I think that's spot on. I think that's spot on, and I think you will enjoy your recording. Roger, Roger.
Spot on, and I think you will enjoy your recording. Roger, Roger.
Very good, Jim. I appreciate it very much. I saddle on you here, but I'm glad you skipped the beginning because I knew I wouldn't be able to stay a lot too much longer. Thanks very much, Jim. 7-3 to you. I'll let you carry on and someone else. This is W8RNB. 7-3, Jim.
Roger, R&B, and just out of curiosity or whatever, an observation, I just went through all my SDRs from New York to Georgia, and you're just everywhere. A nice signal everywhere, so carry on, sir. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Vlog net, if you have a radio you want to check out.
The vertical or the end-fed, you were about the same. You're about 10 over. Beautiful signal today.
Yes, I'm sorry we doubled a little bit there, Lee. Thank you very much for the kudos. Appreciate that. You have a good day. Roger, Roger.
For the kudos. Appreciate that. You have a good day. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Jim. 7-3.
Roger, roger. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KC9VKV, Whiskey America 8, Ocean Papa Radio, WANOPR, over.
Roger, OPR, and what's the name there?
Roger, OPR, and what's the name there?
Terry, Texas Easy Radio Yankee, over.
Roger, Terry, and where are you located, sir? I should know, but give me that.
Roger, Terry, and where are you located, sir? I should know, but give me that.
Farmington, Michigan. Farmington, suburb of Detroit, and I just wanted to get this for your expertise, over.
Roger, and Terry, what radio are you running today?
Roger, and Terry, what radio are you running today?
By the way, you're 10 over 9. TS940, very old Kenwood piece of equipment. 170-foot end-fed wire, up about 50 feet, and 100 watts. I think it's Jim, is that right? KC9, over.
Roger, Terry, and gosh, your radio's looking good ballistically, dynamically speaking. On your modulation, you're about 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%. Why don't you give me about 15 seconds or so and tell me about that antenna system and see if I can find us a better path, Roger?
About that antenna system and see if I can find us a better path, Roger.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not much to it. It's 170-foot, 2060 AM antenna tuner. SA 2060 AM antenna. With a couple hundred feet of poised wire, 3 ground rods, and no coax, no transformers, nothing. Just a wire coming into the tuner, and that's it. Back to you, Jim.
Roger, Terry. Now, depending on the age of that radio, do you have a EQ page, tone control page?
EQ page, tone control page?
Oh, absolutely nothing like that. The only thing we have is a little bit of signal processing, which is not on, and that's all. I mean, this is an antique. It's probably 40 years old, Jim, or?
Yes, sir. And thing is, maybe might want to think about working the mic a little differently and use that reverse proximity effect. Try to get a little more top end by moving back off that mic a couple inches and let that top end zing a little bit harder. Roger.
That top end zing a little bit harder. Roger.
Oh, sure, yeah, I was kind of punching it a little bit hard there. Well, let's try something here. It probably won't work, but let's see, where's my... There it is. 1, 2. Ooh, it's way bad. Hold on. 1, 2. All right, there it is, according to my meters, with the best processing I can come up with. Over.
Yeah, Roger. It sounds a little too much processed, Roger. It sounds like you're coming down about halfway to the moon, Roger.
It sounds like you're coming down about halfway to the moon, Roger.
Oh, that's why I never use it. I just turned it off. That's okay. I probably could use a little more light than usual. All right. Well, you told me I'm 3 dB, so that's what I wanted to know. The old girl's still working pretty good. But before I break with you, can you give me a signal report? I think, Jim, you're running a little bit more than 100 watts. KC9VKV.
Oh, Roger, Terry, we're running a KW. I run so light in the front end on my receiver just to stay out of possible distortion because I'm taking a lot of different signals at a lot of different signal strengths, so I have to be careful that I don't go into distortion sometime. But I do have a VU meter tied to the audio output, and so I can say that you are actually I'm not even on my local antenna now. I'm on PASDR, and you're 7 decibels above the PASDR noise level. Roger, roger.
Decibels above the PASDR noise level. Roger, roger.
Okay, I'm not sure how to interpret that. All I can say is that you're 5 by 9. I could turn on my amplifier, but I don't think there's a need. There's probably other people lined up to talk to you anyway, Jim. Back to you.
Roger, Terry. Well, it's your recording, sir. I would turn the amp on if I were you. I just checked my local antenna, and you're about 3 dB over my noise level. Definitely that amp would help out a great deal. Roger, roger.
That amp would help out a great deal. Roger, roger.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if that works. Apparently it'll work. Okay, there's my little baby amp. That is what am I running here? 350 watts with a home brew brick amp. Maybe that's a little bit better for you. Back to you, Jim.
Yes, sir. You're about 10 over the PASDR noise level. And now let me go to my local antenna. Come back and let me check you out of my local antenna, Roger.
Oh, sure, Jim. Very good. Well, you're starting to approach 20 over, Jim. And I'm trying to think. It seems like you're in southern Indiana. I can't quite remember. Over.
Yes, sir. We're just on the other side of the river from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. And you are on my local antenna 10 dB over my noise level with that amp on. So that's just a great signal. And, it kind of equates almost to a 10, 10 over. But you are 10 dB over. You know what I have? Like I say, I have a VU meter tied to my audio, and I set the peak level for 0 level as you speak, and then when you cease speaking, I'm looking at noise. So you are 10 dB over my local noise level. Great signal.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that very much. Well, thanks for the courtesy of checking out my old antique radio. We've got some modern radios, but I still like the TS940. Say 7-3s to you, Jim, and let the other gentleman speak to you. Over, over.
Then, Terry, you are wall-to-wall frequency response. I'm copying the mail on a 7300, and you're just from looking at your signal on my spectrum analyzer, you are wall-to-wall from 100 cycles to up to around 3, Roger, or up, up that area, Roger.
Oh, yeah. I think this has got, oh, God, I can't remember. I think it's 2.4 IF out. All right, Jim. Thank you, sir. Back to you again.
Yes, sir. You do have content up there around 3. So, I'm not sure what's going on, but you do have a nice broad audio signal, and that's great for our older radio like that. And probably a lot of it has to do with the choice of microphone, either by the manufacturer or by you. I am not sure about that, but you can take a great radio and a bad microphone, and you can't get across the street. You have maybe no articulation at all because you don't have any top end, but your signal is just beautiful from one side to the other, so I wouldn't change a thing, Roger.
Yeah, it's my homebrew amp. I don't have enough filtering in it, so I think most of my radios are about 2.4, and on transmit it winds up to be about 2.9, Jim, over.
Yes, sir. Just a beautiful signal. I think you'll love it. If you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, Roger.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, Jim, you spent more than enough time with me. Appreciate that. Okay, Jim, you spent more than enough time with me. I hope the other folks don't mind, so let the other guys get reports from you. Thanks for your service again, Jim. Over.
Roger, Terry, 73 up that way, sir. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. You have a good afternoon. And this is KC9VKV, Friday afternoon, Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Oscar Foxtrot Sierra.
Heard another station out there. Other station, come back with your call sign phonetically slowly.
Come back with your call sign phonetically slowly.
November.
Was that KD8 something?
Was that KD8 something?
Kilo Echo 8 Echo Zulu November.
I got Kilo Echo 8 Echo and give me the rest.
I got Kilo Echo 8 Echo and give me the rest.
Zulu November.
All right, so I copy Kilo Echo 8 Echo Zulu November. Is that a Roger?
Copy Kilo Echo 8 Echo Zulu November. Is that a Roger?
Roger that. You got Jim here in Ohio. Talking on the 7300, 100 watt, and Fort Ohio.
All right, and what's the name there?
All right, and what's the name there?
Name here is Julia India Mike. I got you at a 10 over 9.
All right, Jim, and where are you located again, please, sir?
All right, Jim, and where are you located again, please, sir?
Portsmouth, Ohio.
Roger on Ohio, or in Ohio. Okay, and that's 7300. If you would be interested in a setup procedure, again, it starts by you being sure that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. 100 to 29. There's 3 choices on that 7300, but 100 to 2900 lets that transmitter run in the best possible situation. Roger?
Lets that transmitter run in the best possible situation. Roger?
I think so. It's fairly new radio to me, so I'm still kind of figuring things out here.
All right, sir. Let me give you some help there. I have notes on that 7300. Let's see here. Let me get on down the road on this iPad. Okay, 7300 multi-button. That round button at the upper right side of the display window takes you to RF power out, session mic gain, compression, monitor. Make sure your monitor's off. Okay, and then that lower button at the rectangular button at the lower left side of the display takes you to set, which takes you to tone control, which takes you to transmit, which takes you to single sideband, and also takes you to TBW, which is transmit bandwidth. Roger?
Takes you to TBW, which is transmit bandwidth. Roger?
Roger, I got the monitor set to off, and it's 50% compression at 6, and the mic gain is about 85, and RF power is 100%.
All right, yeah, and did you happen to see that transmit bandwidth as you went down on that rectangular button at the lower left side of the display, Roger?
Rectangular button at the lower left side of the display, Roger.
It's called the menu button.
It's called the menu button.
Okay, Jim, if you can hear me fairly well, you've kind of fallen off a little bit. Why don't you tell me about 10 or 15 seconds about the best thing you like about your 7300, and let me look for a better path for us, Roger.
And let me look for a better path for us, Roger.
Filters in it, I've noticed so far. Kind of get some of the noise down, get into some of those weaker signals.
Okay, I got a pretty good signal on the my Georgia SDR. So if you're interested in our setup procedure, again, I would suggest you checking your transmit TBW. And we want to set it on 100 to 2900. You have three options on that 7300, and the best one is 100 to 2900. If you don't see it, why don't you just take a note and then consult your book a little later time, and then you can crank that in. 100 to 2900 as a TBW, transmit bandwidth, Roger.
2900 as a TBW, transmit bandwidth, Roger.
Roger that. I'll write that down here and see what I can do. I appreciate the help. That's very, have a good evening. Kilo Echo 8 Echo Zulu November.
Roger, Roger. Well, we have some other thoughts for you if you're running that 7300 that might help you out some. Are you running the supplied hand mic, Roger, Roger?
The supplied hand mic, Roger, Roger.
Negative, I'm running a high mic. It's like a little, it's kind of like a little boom mic on a boom stand here.
Roger that, Roger that. You mean like not a headset boom, but just a regular boom, right?
Not a headset boom, but just a regular boom, right?
You're right. Yeah, it just looks like a regular little microphone, and it's sitting on a boom. I've got a little key switch that's kind of tied into the wiring to it.
Roger, Roger. Jim, well, I would suggest you need just a little more top in there, frequency-wise, a little more treble EQ, and again, that menu button at the lower left side of the display takes you to set, which takes you to tone control, which takes you to transmit, which takes you to single sideband transmit EQ settings, and you should have a treble and bass adjustment, Roger.
And you should have a treble and bass adjustment, Roger.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, KE4WA. I didn't hear you on the client. I heard you on the room here, KE4WA, Texas.
I'm sorry, you were kind of muffly. What I'm trying to do is, Jim, you got a copy on me pretty good?
What I'm trying to do is, Jim, do you got a copy on me pretty good?
Yeah, I copy you.
Roger, Roger. Just trying to get you a little more articulated. So why don't you take another note there outside of the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth would be when you get your tone control page figured out where it is, add a couple of clicks of treble boost. You have a two band EQ there, and just that treble EQ, I would punch it up a couple of clicks more than where it is, Roger.
Punch it up a couple of clicks more than where it is, Roger.
Roger that. I'll see if I can figure it out here, and I appreciate all the help.
Roger, Jim. Well, you have a great radio to work on there, so I'm sure you will figure it out. And if you would like to hear your audio as it stands, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. And if you get a chance, Jim, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. And by then, maybe you have cranked in your a couple of clicks of additional treble boost to raise your articulation level just a little bit. Anyway, 73, Jim. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Alpha 8, Juliet Alpha November, Mobile.
Mobile station calling Whiskey Alpha 8. Come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Whiskey Alpha 8, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Whiskey Alpha 8, Juliet Alpha November, and I am mobile.
Roger, Juliet Alpha November and Mobile. Whereabouts are you? What's the name there first?
And Mobile. Whereabouts are you? What's the name there first?
The name is Jan, Juliet Alpha November.
Roger, Jan, and where are you mobiling at?
Roger, Jan, and where are you mobiling at?
I'm currently south of Pittsburgh, heading south on 79. Just due south of Pittsburgh, southwestern Pennsylvania.
Roger, Jan, and what radio are you running in that mobile?
Roger, Jan, and what radio are you running in that mobile?
My rig is a Yaesu 891, and I'm using an ATAS 120A antenna.
Roger. That really sounds good, man. You're very strong on copying you down in Georgia at the moment, Roger.
Strong on copying you down in Georgia at the moment, Roger.
Thank you very much for the compliment. I just know how to do it. You hear online all the time, ground to ground to ground. I haven't done anything but hook this to a door hinge, and I've done nothing extra to ground it other than just the antenna to the door hinge, and it's a stock radio running just barefoot.
Roger. Well, I hope nobody knocks on your door and tries to open your door. They're liable to get kind of tingly fingers to some degree, Roger.
Kind of tingly fingers to some degree, Roger.
Hello, QRM there. Can you come again?
That's what I was saying. Somebody might try to open your door there and wind up with little burnt, tingly fingers, getting the little RF to ground through their body, Roger.
Getting the little RF to ground through their body, Roger.
Well, my vehicle is a Toyota FJ, so it has a very substantial door hinge on the rear door. So there's a lot of metal to metal to metal, and it's all nice and clean. And for whatever reason, this installation just works gangbusters.
Well, it does that, sir. It does that. You should write an article for QRZ. It's a great idea. Well, I mean, it works great. Just the thought of it though might be a little strange. What size cable is it that you're running from the radio, your ground cable, to the door handle?
What cable is it that you're running from the radio, your ground cable, to the door handle?
Okay, I'm into an area with a lot of noise and a lot of interference. Just give me a second. I'll probably pass through it fairly quickly, but I didn't understand or hear your question.
Roger Jan, I understand. I was just, trying to figure out the size of the wire. They say size doesn't matter, but I'm checking you out there and saying, what is the size of the wire that runs from your radio to your door handle? Roger?
The wire that runs from your radio to your door handle. Roger?
I'm just using RG58.
Yes, sir. That's what I use for ground wire, transmission ground wire for a lot of times. I don't take it out of the RG8 configuration. I just leave it there and get some of those lug nuts that are specifically assigned for those size cables, and they have a little lip on them with a hole in them, and there you go. But how do you bond it to the door handle? Just wrap the thing around it?
To the door handle, just wrap the thing around it.
It's bonded by the fact that the mount connects directly to the door hinge, and it's a sizable amount of steel to steel, and I just scrubbed the paint off.
All right, it works. Say no more. It works just beautifully. You're about, looks to be about 15, 20 over on the Rochester PASDR, Roger?
20 over on the Rochester PASDR, Roger?
Roger that, very. I'm coming in on some heavy traffic, and I'm going to have to beg off now. And so I thank you very much for the QSO and the good report on the radio. I'm quite pleased.
Roger, Jen. And so you should, if you want to hear that great radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. And I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, Roger.
2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, Roger.
Can you repeat that one more time so I can try and write it down?
Yes, sir. Let's see where to start. Go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger that. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Charlie Victor. Whiskey Alpha 8 to Juliet Alpha November.
Roger, sir. 73, and drive safe. Thanks for dropping by. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. 73, Jan, and we'll catch you later. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. 2D1.
Station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Station, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Hey, Jim. Kilo Delta 2 Delta Mike Romeo. How's the signal?
Well, gosh, Delta Mike Romeo, why don't you give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and let me hear you for a minute. Roger?
About your antenna system, and let me hear you for a minute. Roger?
Yeah, QSL, KC9VKV. Gary in East Tennessee, that's Alpha Golf 4, ready.
I had 2 stations in there. DMR station, come back and tell me your about your radio. Okay, DMR station, come back and tell me about your radio, Roger.
About your radio. tell me about your radio, Roger.
Yeah, QSL, Jim. Let me turn it down a little bit here. There we go. 7300 on an SB220 with a 40-meter drive, 40 feet in the air, 35, 40 feet in the air. The audio should be kosher. I actually have it in the wrong zone. It's the signal I'm concerned with.
Yes, sir. I'm copying on the PASDR, and you're 5 dB over their noise level. So, that's a pretty good signal. I went through my local antenna, but I had another station in there with you, so I couldn't tell exactly what was going on. What's the name there?
I couldn't tell exactly what was going on. What's the name there?
The name here is Jeremy, Jeremy.
Roger, Jeremy, and what's your location, sir?
Roger, Jeremy, and what's your location, sir?
We are in Illinois on the Mississippi River between Davenport and Dubuque.
Roger, Roger. Now, are you on the Mississippi? Are you on a boat or just near there, Roger?
Are you on the Mississippi? Are you on a boat or just near there, Roger?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said, are you on the Mississippi? Are you on the Mississippi, or are you just near the Mississippi?
Mississippi? Are you on the Mississippi, or are you just near the Mississippi?
Oh, I'm only a couple hundred feet from it there. There we go. That should bring the audio up to something you like much better. KD2D1.
Yes, I could hear you shifting gears. What did you pray do?
Yes, I could hear you shifting gears. What did you pray do?
Oh, I'm just giving the old antenna the one-to-one treatment, you know.
Roger, Roger. So it's something you switched antennas, is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger. So it's something you switched antennas, is that a Roger?
Yeah, I went from 6 BKW, I cut it down to actually 32 foot, 32 and a half on either side, so we should be killing it down your way. I'm guessing 5, 10 over, is that right?
Looks to be about 7 over on my local antenna. And you were lower, much lower to me before you did what you did, and then after you did that, I went to my local antenna, and you were 7 over my antenna, 7 over my received noise level, which is really a good signal. Roger?
7 over my received noise level, which is really a good signal. Roger?
Yeah, QSL, you're right about the same for you, 5 to 10 over as well. It's a 7300. And I don't know what we're running. The old standard format. Pretty good deal. It's not the audio part, it's the signal. So, are you able to look at me on a scope at all?
Not at the moment, but I can see your audio, your dynamics of your audio, which seem to be about 3 decibels wide, 3 decibels. So it's a fairly nice signal. Your average percent of peak modulation is 80 to 85%, which is very nice, and it's nice and clear. Roger, Roger?
Which is very nice, and it's nice and clear. Roger, Roger?
All right, that's what I'm looking for. I imagine the 7300 is still in the ballpark where she should be, so... well, that changes things. There we go. There, that should sound much better to you. KD2D1, is that better?
Yes, sir. You keep finding these advances in your radio. They're like little Christmas gifts, Roger.
They're like little Christmas gifts, Roger.
Yeah, QSO, I don't know what. It was wide there. Ended up on the 3, back on the 1-3, mic at 50, power at 50. We're running just over a kilowatt here. So should be rock solid at your place. Yeah, you're dipping 5, 9 to 10 over. Nice long, slow picketing, Roger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I was on my local antenna. Now, if you would be interested in hearing your audio, we are recording, and we'll be posting this up on YouTube in the next couple of days, actually by noon tomorrow. And if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it will take you to this recording. It will be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And like I say, I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. And just a point of interest, I have on my set a spectrum analyzer, and I also have on my lower right side, I have a little chevron that has my list of SDRs and my local receiver and all kinds of stuff. So, you can tell where I'm finding the signal at as you look at your recording. I've been all over the country. I have SDRs from New York to Georgia. Roger?
QSL. I played with I'm very familiar with that deal, with all that remote hams, the SDRs, and I host on 7185 every night, so I'll get back to you. 73 KD2D Mark.
Roger. And these are just receiver SDRs, internet SDRs. I'm transmitting always with my resonant dipole antenna. 73 there, Jeremy. You have a good day, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Juliet 4 November Papa Tango.
Papa Tango station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Yeah, Jim, this is Kilo Juliet 4 November Papa Tango. Kilo Juliet 4 November Papa Tango. QSL.
Roger, November Papa Tango. What's the name there?
Yeah, you got Mike on this end. Jim, Mike down here in Rome, Georgia.
Roger, Mike. Gosh, it's sounding good. I'm on my local antenna up around Louisville, and you're looking to be about 15 over. Really good signal there. What radio are you running?
I'm running 7300 today, Jim. I used it before on my 990 Yazoo. We got it set. I haven't touched it, but I haven't talked at you since I got the 7300, and just wanted to check it out on it, see what you thought about it. And it is with the regular hand mic that come with it.
Yes, sir. Well, first things first, then, the best way to work that hand mic is pull it to the corner of your lips and talk across it. Don't talk directly into it. Pull it to the corner of your lips and talk across it. Roger?
Yeah, I'm bad about talking right into it and getting the whispers there. Okay, I'm talking across it there now. Jim, did that help it out?
Yes, sir. That really minimizes the plosives and stuff because that is an electret mic. You're using that stock mic, Roger?
Yes, sir. I sure am stock mic. You got on to me about the Yazoo doing the same thing there on the Yazoo. I'm bad about talking right into it and getting the breath, in between there, but I am talking right straight across it now.
Yes, sir. Okay. So what we want to do is maybe set that up. If you want to double check to be sure you're in the wide transmit band mode, wide 100 to 2900, wide transmit bandwidth. It's, let's see here, the menu button. That rectangular button at the lower left side of the display takes you to set, which takes you to tone control, which takes you to transmit, which takes you to single sideband, and then in that area you will have a TBW, and that should be set to 100 to 2900. Roger?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I listened to you with the other fellow there a few minutes ago, so I'm in the 100 to 29. Now my treble's 3 plus 3, and the bass is plus 2.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I wouldn't change a thing there. I would go with that. Now, let's see here. What you might want to do is check and put that compressor on a 3. It's a token amount. You'll never hear it on the air, but it does help getting that 3 dB dynamic range that we're looking for at the end. So compression on at a 3, Roger?
Hey, Roger, Jim. Roger, I'll do that. And I'm going to post me a little sticky note up here about talking across the mic. I'm bad about talking into it, but hey, thanks a lot, Jim. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Now, there is one other thing, and that is setting your ALC. Once you get that compressor on at a 3, then go to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, don't stress it, just say it, audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is showing 2/3. Roger?
Yes, sir. Don't go over on the ALC there. That's how I did that Yaesu, like I say, and it worked out great. So did want to try you on this one, though, but you sound good down here, and I'll work on that compressor and ALC, Roger.
Yes, sir. Sounding good there. So let me say 73 there, Mike, and you have a good afternoon. And again, your recording will be up on YouTube by noon tomorrow. It's KC9VKV followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search. Roger?
Roger, Jim, and I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the job you do. Thanks a lot. 73s from KJ4NPT.
Roger, roger, sir. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey Zebra 9 India.
9 India. Come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Roger. The call is Whiskey Zulu 9er India. Name's John. We're in Winder, Georgia, about an hour east of Atlanta.
Roger, roger. And the name is Todd, is that right?
No, the name is John.
Roger, John. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running a Kenwood TS590ST and an old ancient Alpha 76A amplifier.
Alrighty, if you're interested in our setup, is that a newer radio?
I've had it about 10 years.
All right, do you have a tone control page, an EQ page?
We do.
If we could go to that, we need a little more articulation. Roger, roger.
Roger, how's this?
Well, gosh, what kind of an equalizer do you have, sir?
I'm using the built-in equalizer on the Kenwood 590.
Roger, is that a 3-band, 8-band, 10-band, or what is that?
It only has 2. It has high frequency or low frequency boost.
Yes, sir. And do you have an EQ switch on? A mic EQ switch? Do you have to worry about that, or you can just go to your tone control page right direct?
Roger, give me a moment. I got to look on the nifty manual.
Yes, sir. Some of them do have a mic EQ switch that has got to be on, or you don't get anywhere. You can put all those EQs where you want, but they're not going to affect the signal until you put it on. But yours is an older radio. It's probably more direct, and that EQ probably responds directly without having to have a mic on switch. Or, I'm sorry, a mic tone EQ switch on.
Well, the mic is a high-ohm mic, and it has a switch directly on the mic, which is labeled wide or narrow.
Yes, sir. So, and what mode is it in now?
It's on the wide.
Okay, I can really hear it as you scrape it across the table or something. You can really hear that, Roger.
Now I've got a boom mic that squeaks when I move it around. That's what it was. This is probably, well, I can't make it do it again. Anyway, it's on the wide mode.
Yes, sir. Might get yourself some WD-40 and squirt a couple of those connections there as far as where it bends and, bifurcates, Roger?
Yes, I will do that.
But you're sounding good there, John. I would get the Gorilla Tape out and tape her down. And if you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger. Thank you very much. Appreciate the service.
Yes, sir. 73 to you, John, and you have a great afternoon and beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. And usually about now when I call for stations and I don't hear anything, I'm thinking about maybe the antenna that I'm listening for is not maybe radiating the best, so I have another time for a thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. This segment, Antennas That Work. Well, after 6 years and over 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, we've worked our way down to those that can really use our help, folks that are running with bad antennas. That is precisely why many months ago, in addition to my local receiver, I started using 4 geographically chosen Internet SDR receivers. So I know that when my local receiver and all 4 of my SDR receivers are receiving a signal poorly, there are probable antenna issues involved, because I believe a 100-watt transmitter operating generally in the eastern part of the United States should be at least an S5 to S9 somewhere. If you're an S1 everywhere, you're not getting out. Let me repeat that. If you're an S1 everywhere, you're not getting out. So while I can technically set up your transmitter for optimal performance, if you're operating with a poor antenna, you will not be getting out well. And radio antenna tuners do not really solve the problem. They only mask the problem so the radio will operate correctly. A bad antenna is still a bad antenna. So now you're on the air with a bad antenna. But the real name of the game is ERP over ADI. How well do you bring your effective radiated power over your area of dominant influence? Which is just a way of asking the question, how well are you getting out into the area that you wish to be heard? Now you can blame poor propagation till the cows come home, but if you're an S1 everywhere, you're not getting out. I propose a change in your life, a great answer to an amateur's worst problem. It is the antenna we've been using over the past 6 years here on Friday afternoons for our Qso-Vlog network. It is the resonant-tuned, no SWR, specifically oriented dipole antenna. Yes, it's a dipole antenna, but a resonant-tuned dipole antenna. Look, Ma, no antenna tuner. Because they are tuned, they have no SWR to deal with, so you're straight out of your radio, fire to the wire. No conversion loss antenna tuner to deal with. Your max fire to the wire. So if you want to get out, get yourself on the air with a resonant-tuned, no SWR, specially oriented dipole antenna. It would be one of the greatest gifts you could give your station operation. And no, we don't sell them, but you can Google plans for them for free, and they are easy to build. And I hope this talk about resonant-tuned, no SWR, specifically oriented dipole antennas will at least stir up some interest in building new, more efficient antennas. Well, there you go. And you know, we mentioned specially oriented because the dipole antennas are somewhat directional. Usually the radiation curve is broadside to the line. So, you know, if you have it running east and west, you're transmitting north and south. And if it's strung out north and south, you'll be radiating east and west. So, and then if you were to do 2 of them with an AB switch, you'd have it covered pretty well. So there you go. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Echo 3, X-ray Bravo Oscar.
X-ray Bravo Oscar. If you would, come back with that call sign slowly phonetically.
If you would, come back with that call sign slowly phonetically.
Very good, Jim. It's Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Oscar. Bard in Meaford, Ontario, Canada. Roger.
Roger, Bart, sounding really good. I'm using the PASDR. What you been up to, man?
Really good. I'm using the PASDR. What you been up to, man?
Well, I've been acquiring more radios. I just acquired this little TS50 Kenwood at the last Ham Fest for an equivalent of $125 in mint condition, and hooked it up to my G5RV with a stock microphone and an external antenna tuner here in my backyard, and see if it actually gets out.
Oh, yeah, beautiful, and your audio is just really nice. Looks to be about 3 dB, bandpass in your audio, and that would be 80 to 85% basically, so it's loud, no distortion, and the EQ curve is pleasant but articulated, Roger.
Curve is pleasant but articulated, Roger.
Roger. I guess that's the famous Kenwood sound. There's not much to adjust. Adjustment is high and low. So there's no processing in this radio. It was the basic Kenwood starter radio, I guess 20, 30 years ago, and it seems to be working. It seems to be the audio seems to be clean on an SDR, I heard, and I'm just sort of testing it out here. First, a couple of times. It's my second time, Roger.
Oh, Roger. Well, if we're not having a compressor in there, it's really got a nice tonality to it, and again, about 3 dB of bandwidth as far as your total sound there. You're 80 to 85%, like I say, so it's really nice. And if you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, it'll bring it up. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, Roger.
In a series of 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, Roger.
Roger. Yes, I'm subscribed to your YouTube channel, so I will see when you post it. Thank you very much.
Roger, Bart, 73. Now, what's the temperature up there right now?
73. Now, what's the temperature up there right now?
I would say it's around mid-70s, mid to upper 70s right now, Roger.
Roger, and how cold does it get overnight?
Roger, and how cold does it get overnight?
The nights are a little bit cool. I think it goes to low 60s at night this time of year, Roger.
Roger, well, sounds like good weather up there. Then in the wintertime, that changes quite a bit, doesn't it?
In the wintertime, that changes quite a bit, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. We do have quite an extensive ski season usually, Roger.
Roger. Now, you're up around Ottawa, is that a Roger?
Roger. Now, you're up around Ottawa, is that a Roger?
Negative. A little bit more west. I'm on Georgian Bay, which is 2 hours straight north of Toronto. It's part of Lake Huron. Georgian Bay is part of Lake Huron, Roger.
Oh, Roger, well, if you got just a minute, I'm running this Hocus Pocus SDR system, which is it's another fire tablet that let me see. Okay, I got to bring that up. It's got 50 internet SDR locations by state location, basically, and I've got starts up in Canada. Montreal would be. Let me just try Montreal, and I'm curious how that might be as far as working in your direction. You know, because sometimes if you write in the city that where everything's going on, it's not advantageous. It's best to be off just a little bit. So let me check you in Montreal. Come back and let me hear you.
As a matter of fact, I'm listening also on the Ottawa SDR, which is from Montreal in the same direction. I can hear you on the Ottawa SDR for some reason. I can hear myself quite clearly. So perhaps you're not radiating in that direction, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, now let me move on closer to you here. Let me get there. And I will move to Ottawa and see what that does. That should be a little bit closer to you. There we go. And let me hear you on that one.
There we go. And let me hear you on that one.
Okay. I'm using actually the 3HOA Ottawa SDR, and I'm quite coming in an S8 to an S9 there, Roger.
Roger, I've got a good copy on you on that one, and I have another one up here. Let me go to it and see what's happening. This is I find these fascinating. This is one. Now this one's further away. This is Prince Edward, which is further away from you than those other ones. So maybe on the second hop, this one might come up. Let me hear you on this one, Roger.
Roger. Well, if it's Prince Edward Island, that's quite far away. That's in another province. But if it's Prince Edward County, that's around Belleville area. That's actually closer than Ottawa. Roger.
Now this is Prince Edward Island, and you're about 15 over on that one, Roger.
Edward Island, and you're about 15 over on that one, Roger.
Oh, okay. Wow. So the already went long, I guess.
Yes, sir. You're still much better on PA SDR, though. That's my favorite, and should be yours. It just does you so beautiful. And if you want to hear all this, if you want to go to YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. You'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, and this will be cut number 1 in a series of 2700. Roger.
Series of 2700.
Roger. Yeah, I will check it out tomorrow afternoon. I'm off tomorrow to a ham fest in Barrie, Ontario. It should be a good one, so I'm hoping to get some good deals on maybe another radio that hasn't been used in a while and is still in good condition. So thank you very much, Jim. KC9VKV V3XBO.
Roger, Bart, 73 that way, so you have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. So we got to get out of here. Since 3:30 we've been recording live, and if you've participated and want to hear what your radio sounds like, just go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, and that will take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,700 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This will be cut number 1 in that series, and we'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. And just a reminder, we run the Qso-Vlog network every Friday afternoon from 3:30 till 5 Eastern on this frequency 7188. So here's a big thanks to all who participated, and we'll see you next Friday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. This is KC9VKV, and we now return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV, clear.